Hello everybody, welcome back to Higher Maths in the lockdown period. Today we are looking at gradient. This is lesson 2 of the straight line topic, and gradient is something you obviously did last year in National 5. So let me go back to the very beginning and take you on our little gradient journey. For the start off, gradient is given the letter M. Does anybody know why it's got the letter M? Anybody? Well, the best explanation I've got is the gradient is the average steepness of a slope. And in French, moyenne is the word they use for average. That is why I think M is used as gradient. I could be wrong, but I like that story, so I'm just going to stick with it. To begin with, the gradient was vertical divided by horizontal. That is when we first start looking at gradient, when we look at the gradient of slopes, roads, hills, and then as we move on to points on a coordinate grid, we use the formula y2 take away y1 divided by x2 take away x1. This is a formula you should be nice and secure with because you used it a lot in National 5. This is the formula that we're going to practice with today, use today, just to try and get you back into working with gradient. So if we take a nice little basic example, say I have the points 1, 2 and 7, 9, and I want to work out the gradient of the line joining those points. So first of all, we need to label the points. This is x and y, this is x and y. This is the first point people can go wrong. This is your first point here. Both of these therefore are 1, x1 and y1. This is your second point, so both of these are 2's, x2 and y2. So then we go to this formula here and we're going to do y2 take away y1, y2 take away y1, and we're going to divide that by x2 take away x1, and that gives me 7 over 6, 7/6. Now you might think, oh, I've made a mistake here, it's not worked out to be a nice number, but we are now in higher maths. That means we can get answers which are fractions or whole numbers, negative fractions, it doesn't matter, we'll take any answer that's going. It won't always work out to be a nice answer. A couple of things to remind you about. If you got an answer which was something like 10 over 2, remember, the over line also means divide. 10 over 2, if I simplified that down, 10 divided by 2, that simply makes 5. I don't need to write 5 over 1. If you get to a point where the bottom number is 1, you don't need to write it. Okay? If we had a situation where our fraction answer was 7 over 14, then we would simplify that down by dividing both by 7 to get a half. Your final answer should be fully simplified. The example I used a minute ago didn't need to be simplified, so that's why I didn't bother doing it. Okay, a couple of other things about gradient that you should already know. We're looking at a vertical line and we're looking at a horizontal line. So if we have a horizontal line, the gradient is for every one box you go to the right, what happens to your line? Does it go up? Does it go down? Okay, you can see here, because it's horizontal, the line doesn't go up or down. So how does that impact the gradient? Let's just presume that that's the point 1, 4, and that's the point 5, 4. Let's work out the gradient. Okay, so we've got x1 and y1, we've got x2 and y2. So popping that into my gradient formula, y2 take away y1, it's 4 take away 4, x2 take away x1, 5 take away 1, that's going to give me 0 over 4. I'll just move that round so you can see it. 0 over 4, 0 divided by 4, well, the answer would be 0. A horizontal line has a gradient of 0. That is a mathematical fact that you are meant to know. What about a vertical line? let's say we've got this vertical line here. Let's say that is the point 4, 1, and this is the point 4, 10. Remember, gradient is for every one box I go to the right, what happens to my line. Let's write these points out to the side so you can see them nice and clearly. I'm going to label my points. So x1, y1, x2, y2. And now I'm going to do my gradient formula. So it's y2 take away y1, x2 take away x1. So I'm going to get 10 take away 1 on the top, which gives me 9. 4 take away 4 on the bottom, which gives me 0. Okay, let's go back to primary school. What's 9 divided by 0? Hands up who thinks it's 9. Hands up who thinks it's 0. You're both wrong. Dividing by 0, dividing by any number, for example, if it was 9 divided by 1, you count up in ones until you hit 9. 9 divided by 0, you count up in zeros until you hit 9. You can't do it. It's impossible. Technically speaking, we would say that this was an infinite answer, but in terms of my gradient, we simply say it's undefined. We have an undefined gradient, and the reason is, the gradient, remember, is for every one box I go to the right, what happens to my line? This line does not go to the right. So we cannot have an answer for its gradient. So in here we have two mathematical facts that you're meant to know and remember. A horizontal line has a gradient of 0. A vertical line has an undefined gradient. You are meant to know those facts. So here we have 3 things you're meant to know. First of all, you are meant to know the gradient formula. This is not a formula that's given to you in a formula sheet. You are meant to know that. Then you're meant to know the little facts about a vertical line and a horizontal line. One more thing I want to do is just have a look at some negative numbers work. So say we have -3, -2, and the other point is -8, -6. And I want to get the gradient. So this is going to be x1 and y1. This is going to be x2 and y2. So my gradient is going to be y2 -6 take away y1, which is -2, divided by x2 -8 take away x1, which is -3. You need to be good at negative numbers. Negative numbers is something you would have worked on in 1st and 2nd year. You would have worked on it again in 3rd and 4th year. At this level of maths, it is 100% certain you should be able to do this without any difficulty at all. Let's not try and have rules like 2 negatives make a positive. That is unhelpful. Let's just try and do it properly. -6 take away -2. Taking away a negative is the same as adding. So that becomes -6 add 2. On the bottom line, -8 take away -3 becomes -8 add 3. -6 add 2, remember, you're down at -6, you're now coming back up towards 0. That would take you to -4. -8 add 3 would take you to -5. Now, I have a negative divided by a negative. That will give me a positive. So my final answer for the gradient is 4/5. If just one of these numbers here was negative, my final answer would be a negative. If both of them are negative, your final answer is a positive, because a negative divided by a negative makes a positive. Okay, time for me to stop talking, time for you to do some work. So here is the worksheet for today. Let's be very clear on this one, just in case you can't understand some of the writing. So there's question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4, question 5, and question 6. Remember, all we need to do each time is pause it and then complete the work. And then once you've done all the work, we will go back and we'll take a look at the solutions. Okay, first question, number 1. So we've got 5, 3 and 8, 7 as my points. So x1, y1, x2, y2, straight into the way we would normally label the points. Gradient formula, y2 take away y1, 7 take away 3, x2 take away x1, 8 take away 5. That gives me 4/3. It's fine to have a top-heavy fraction. That's not a problem for us in higher maths. Right, number 2. Question 2, we have -1, 0, x1, y1, and we have 5, 8, x2, y2. Again, gradient formula, y2 take away y1, so 8 take away 0, x2 take away x1, 5 take away -1. 8 take away 0 on the top line is going to give me 8. 5 take away -1, well again, like we showed you a minute ago, taking away a negative here is the same as adding. That's going to change to 5 add 1, which is going to give me 6. My final answer as a fraction here is 8/6. That can be simplified. I can divide both of these numbers by 2 to get a final answer of 4/3. Question 3. Again, x1, y1, x2, y2. Gradient formula is y2 take away y1, so 7 take away -5. x2 take away x1, 3 take away -2. 7 take away -5 is 7 add 5, which will make 12. 3 take away -2 is 3 add 2, which is going to give me 5. My answer is 12/5. That doesn't simplify. We are finished. Question number 4. x1, y1, x2, y2. Every single time we do this, we're doing it the same way. Gradient formula, y2 take away y1. So it's -2 take away -10. x2 take away x1. 5 take away -8. Okay, -2 take away -10 changes to -2 add 10, which takes me all the way up to 8. 5 take away -8 changes to 5 add 8, which goes to 13. 8/13, that's my final answer, doesn't simplify. Next one, question number 5. Same again, x1, y1, x2, y2, always starting at the same. y2 take away y1, -4 take away -3, x2 take away x1, -1 take away -2, -4 take away -3 changes to -4 add 3, so I'm coming back up towards 0, takes me to -1. -1 take away -2 changes to -1 add 2, which takes me beyond 0, takes me up to 1. Okay, I mentioned earlier, if you get something which is over 1, you don't need to write that. -1 divided by 1, final answer is just -1. Question 6. Same again, x1, y1, x2, y2. Gradient formula, y2, -2, take away y1. x2 take away x1. -2 take away -2 is -2 add 2, which takes me back to 0. 3 take away 1 is 2. 0 divided by 2, remember, is 0. That must be a horizontal line. 7. x1, y1, x2, y2. That's going to give me 8 take away minus 3 over 5 take away 5. 8 take away minus 3 is 8 add 3, which is 11. 5 take away 5 is 0. Here's a testy one. I hope nobody put 11. I hope nobody put 0. Remember, for the example I did at the start, this is an undefined gradient. That must be a vertical line. We cannot divide by 0. It's impossible. Last question. Is anyone on for 8 out of 8? That is the big question. Okay, labelled it the same as normal. We've got 3 take away minus 4. We've got 1 take away minus 2. 3 take away minus 4 is 3 add 4, which makes 7. 1 take away minus 2 is 1 add 2, which makes 3. Final answer, 7 over 3, 7/3. That is the gradient using the gradient formula. Things which you need to know coming away from this lesson. You need to know the gradient formula. You need to know that a vertical line has an undefined gradient. You need to know that a horizontal line has a 0 gradient. And that is all for today's lesson. Remember, give it a thumbs up. If there's anything you want to ask, leave a comment below and subscribe to the channel so you get them straight away. Thank you everybody. We'll see you later.